Welcome to some parent information for the upcoming track season here at Bryan Middle School. To introduce the coaching staff here, we have Coach Cade working with the hurdlers. We have Coach Duffner working with distance and general running. I, Coach Fowler, am working with the throwers, shot and discus. Coach McGursky is going to be working with the high jumpers, and Coach Spitelli will be working with the long and triple jumpers. The cool thing about track is there's not a ton that is needed. What is needed for sure is a pair of shoes that is very, very comfortable. Spikes are not required. Matter of fact, I say spikes really only if you really, really want them, because it adds a cost, and we know that kids sit there and grow out of them very, very quickly. If you happen to go that route, the spikes have to be pyramid, and they're quite short, I believe 1/8 of an inch, and that is pretty much a rule at all the tracks. They should not be needle but pyramid. They should come with water, so they don't have to come inside to get a quick drink. So a water bottle labeled with their name on it would be appropriate. This is a Chicago, and well, it is Chicago, and there's a lot of different weather that we could have. We could have spring in the morning, winter in the afternoon, and summer at night. So we really need to be checking the weather apps to see what should I wear in order to be ready and prepared for track. For meets, they need to be running in their blue team T-shirt that they already have and a pair of black shorts. Also, I would suggest jackets, blankets, and plenty of good snacks for meets because they do have a tendency to go on for a while. The other thing that will have to eventually be done is a $40 fee through Pushcoin. Look for a notification within the next 2 weeks from the office so you can pay that, but that hasn't been put out yet. In terms of communication, we operate by grade level and gender. So if you have a seventh grade daughter, they'll be reporting to Coach Cade, so the information should be given to Coach Cade. Likewise, I'm working with the seventh grade boys, Coach Duffner with the eighth grade girls, and Coach Spitelli with the eighth grade boys. Simply email us with any questions that you might have. Hey, maybe they're going to miss a practice because of maybe a dental appointment, orthodontist. Perhaps they're not feeling good. They were sick all weekend and they just need an extra day to recover. They have soccer practice, soccer game, baseball game that's an hour away. We totally understand. Another thing I want you to be aware of, or we would like you to be aware of, would be body soreness. So obviously they're growing, they're playing a lot of different things or doing a lot of different sports. So if their body is telling them, hey, something's off a little bit, it's okay. Just let us know. Simply email us. The other really important thing to email us about is, let's say if you're not able to go to the meet, most kids are taken home. Very few ride the bus. It's less than a handful. But if you can't be there and not take them home and you want them to go home with your neighbor, best friend, etc., please make sure that you email the coach saying, I give permission for so and so to take home my son or daughter. Practices are every day after school from 3:30 to 4:30. There is a late bus that is available. A typical practice basically starts with attendance in assigned area, mostly classrooms. We then go outside for a brief warm up as we're dancing around the York High School varsity and junior varsity softball teams. We'll do a little stretching, plyometrics, and then from there, workouts are generally based on what the kids are interested in or signed up for: throwing, sprinting, distance, jumping, etc. And then we always seem to run out of time for a cool down, but we do recommend that they make sure that they stretch after they're done. I wish my body was as elastic as theirs are at this point in time, but I do still recommend that they cool down. In terms of the weather, as I said, we live in Chi-Town. It could be one season at one moment and quickly switch to another. So we will run in rain like we have already this season. However, if it is thunderstorming, we will not be outside. If it was a potential for a bad storm, we may even cancel practice. We would send out a blast on Parent Square, making everyone aware of that. So more times than not in the spring, it's cooler than warmer. So please make sure we're dressing appropriately. In case if it gets like the summer and it's really, really hot, we use wet bulb temperatures, and we would modify what we would do based on the current wet bulb temperature. Again, all these changes, cancellations would be made via Parent Square. This year we have 4 regular meets along with a conference meet. We have 2 meets this week, Thursday and Friday. Weather's looking good for one, maybe not so well for the other. That's why we try to get as many as we can in. Thursday will be at York with Sandburg hosting. Friday will be at Hinsdale Central with Hinsdale and Clarendon Hills hosting. Thursday will be next Thursday. We'll be back at York. We'll be co-hosting with Churchville, and then we'll have the city meet, which we all host on Wednesday the 29th. Please, the parking is really limited at the football stadium. York does ask us to have everyone try to park at York High School. In terms of meets, we get the kids there. They're all bused there. Some of them will ride on small white buses, others will ride on a regular school bus. They should bring everything that they need to go home with them. That might be backpacks, instruments, etc. We get there at the mercy of the bus company. There will always be a bus at the end of the meet back to Bryan. It is very important that we have parents sign out your athletes. If you don't sign out, we're going to call home to make sure that your son or daughter got home safely. There will be clipboards located on the bottom of the area where we are sitting as a school. They're right there. You can sign your son out or your daughter out as soon as you get there, even though they're in the last event. Doesn't matter. So rule of thumb, sign out ASAP as soon as you get there. If you are unable to pick up your son or daughter and you need to go home with somebody else, simply email prior to 3:30 your son or daughter's attendance coach. Again, start time depends on the hosting school. Typically, it's 4:30. I know Thursday we're going to try to start at 4, and we will let kids know that. Hopefully, we'll get Parent Square up and going so everyone gets that information. But a good meet ends 6:45 ish. We try not to go past 7, except for conference. You'll see in a little bit. Here are the running events. We usually do hurdles. We do 7th grade first, then 8th grade, or we do girls first, then boys. Just depends on the school. While we're cleaning up the hurdles, we start the mile or the 1600. Then we have the 100, the 400, the 4x2, the 800, which is 2 laps, 200, which is a curve and a straightaway. And then we have the mile relay where everyone runs a lap. And then we have the speed race, 4x100. Either you're doing a straightaway or a curve. Field events typically have open pits. So the throwing events are long, triple, and high jumps and throws being shot put in the discus. The one exception is the high jump. Either girls go first or boys go first because they don't move the height down for you. Whenever you're there, that's what height you're going to jump at. Boys and girls have a different starting jumping height. Conference meet this year is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go one day rather than a prelim day and a finals day. So this year it's slated for Tuesday, May 5th. The rain date is Wednesday, May 6th. It's going to be at Willowbrook. For the last couple of years, it really has been done well at Elmhurst University, but there's been some coaching changes with the basketball team there. So we're going to go ahead and contract out a company as a conference to do chip timing. So even though we won't have a finals heat, it'll be the times based on where you finish. And then there'll be 3 heats. The 3 fastest times would be first, second, third. There's also, we go up to 5th place. So the top 5 times would be scoring for us. It was supposed to start at 4 o'clock. We'll see how that goes. And I put 8 o'clock. It could go a little longer. We've never done it this way, at least for decades. So we'll see where we are. Some other fine information about the conference meet is it is the only one that not everyone can participate in. This is the only one that we really score to find a winner. So for each race and at each grade level and gender, we can have 2. So I can have 2 7th grade boys running the mile. I can have 2 7th grade boys run the 100. There is only 1 relay for each grade level gender. Like I said before, no prelims because we're using chip timing. And we will place kids based on the data that we collect throughout the season, which might be practice participation, meet results, might be some internal time trials at practice. Athletes can compete up into 3 conference events, but very few do. So, in summary, you can play back this video, which is the beauty of it. But the most important things is at a meet, please make sure that you sign out your son or daughter. Otherwise, we're going to give you a call. And if you have any questions, you want to, someone's going to take home your son or daughter, etc., please reach out to your attendance coach, Coach Cade for the 7th grade girls, myself, Coach Fowler for the 7th grade boys, Coach Duffner for the 8th grade girls, and Coach Spitelli for the 8th grade boys. Thanks for listening and hope you have a wonderful day. And I know we're going to have an amazing season. Thank you for your support.